Well, the trees got taken down. They no longer have. They're not going to get electrocuted there today. Fascinating discussion yesterday with an English businessman. And he's sick to the back teeth of Keiff, Reeves, Labour, the whole lot, and also was so badly let down by the Tories after 2019 when they thought they had a chance to do something. And he knows how bad the economy is. Is sufficiently well clued up to know what Giorgio Milei is up to in Argentina. He got rid of the deficit and it's back on growth. Inflation is coming down. You know all about that because I posted about it. So, long discussion with this businessman. And it would appear that an awful lot of people are in our situation, shall we say. There's more around the place than we realised. I know from what opinion polls say, the direction of travel, and we know this from not just opinion polls, but also council elections, that sort of thing. What's happening to the Labour vote, what's happening to the Reform vote, what's happening to the Uni-Party vote, that's collapsing. So, he senses that there is a change. It compares it to what happened with COVID, rather the drop in support for the lockdown, all the rest of that. How that went from 5% scepticism to 10% to 15 to 20 and so on. Eventually it becomes a tipping point. Eventually realise that this whole monumental mistake, waste of time, wasting money, all the rest of it, and the rest is history. You see, we're in the early stages of that with Labour, with Starmer, and the rest of his cabinet, and the rest of his cabal. 5 months in, he's on sticky ground. So, it's encouraging. So even though he knows and I know just how bad things are, they're going to get a whole lot worse. 2 months of decrease in the size of the economy, decrease in the number of job vacancies, layoffs increasing due to employer NIC contributions increasing, and all the rest of it. Profit margin slashed, reduced investment. You know all the score, as I posted about all this stuff. So he knows what's going on because he's a businessman. He's at the coalface of all this. So he knows that the pain coming down the line is going to be. The trouble is, how badly are things going to get before they are rejected? How much damage is going to be inflicted by them before they are thrown out, or they have to resign because borrowing costs have become so astronomical. Gilt yields. Take a look at the gilt yields to know what's going on. It could well be that the markets decide what happens with the government as opposed to what the majority of the MPs are in Parliament. We saw this with Liz Truss, how she left, and again look what replaced her, Sunak. So there's a he senses there is something, there is cause for optimism, that the country, I guess, has seen through him, seen through Sunak, see through Sunak, has seen through Starmer and Labour as a whole. It's just a question of, well, what do we do about it? And I think he knows. Starmer must know. I mean, he had to a few weeks ago reset his government, or rather restate his missions. 5 months. That's the sort of thing you do at the end, when you're coming to the end of your premiership, hoping to secure another 5 years in office. You don't do that at the beginning. Things have gone so catastrophically wrong. Unlike what the commentators say, that it's a matter of communication, that he needs to communicate better what his mission is. Oh, we know what the mission is. It stinks. We know what he's trying to do. We're just rejecting it. What he's still trying to do is sell a shit product. People realising that. So how do you get rid of it? He's desperate to cling on, and he's got enough MPs to do it until some might defect to an Islamic party, for instance. Or one's being formed in the new year, by the way. There's 4 independent Islamist MPs and Jeremy Corbyn. They're going to team together to form some sort of Islamic party. And that'll probably poach a few more MPs in Islamic constituencies who are desperate to hang on to that vote, save their own skin, because Labour aren't being anti-Semitic enough. They're not doing enough free plasticine and all that rest of the bollocks. So, could be a split there. But there are more of us, rather he's now realised, this businessman has realised that there are more of us libertarians who think the way I do than he does, and he realised. He doesn't feel as lonely, I don't feel as lonely. So, and the people he knows also feel the same way, even if they aren't strict libertarians. They just want to be able to do business, they just want to be able to enjoy life as they did in, say, 70s and 80s without having the government on the backs, and having the government spying on what they're doing and listening to their communications and looking at what they type, listen to what they're saying to people, having a free life, which is what libertarianism is. And we were, in the 70s, certainly were a much more libertarian country than we are now. This authoritarian one has been since, well, Cameron was heir to Blair, wasn't he? So there are signs that we can be optimistic. I'll say that much. Just a question of how would you channel that? Well, that's up to mainly reform is the best mechanism we have currently, as any sort of opposition and as a means to get rid of him, the Starmer. But there is a little light at the end of the tunnel that people are starting to wake up at just how god awful this lot are, how incompetent, and it'll accelerate as the full measures of the budget come into force. But people probably won't wake up until that happens, and then I just have to remind them that the unit party is the same. Tories are the same, Plaid Cymru are the same, Lib Dems, SNP, Greens, the same common ideology. All that differs is how it's implemented and the severity. The same common ideologies in the unit party, which is why we have alternatives like Reform, SDP, and Homeland Party and Heritage Party. Well, it's not calmer today than there was last week. What a delight. Anyway, I forgot to buy some eggs this morning. Very clever. Forgot to buy them yesterday as well. My mind is all over the place.